Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Bebe Kumi, and today we have one of the owners of Kafe 5999, Tony Espineira. Did I say it right, man?
Yes, Espineira. Perfect.
So, how's it been, man? How's it going?
Very good, very good. Very happy to be here.
Oh, nice, nice. I'm happy that you got the time because I canceled last moment yesterday, but thank God you had the time today, man.
No, of course, definitely. I'm happy to be here, and it's interesting. It's my first podcast,
Oh,
so
really?
I'm looking forward
Oh,
to
nice.
to seeing how this goes.
I'm so honored.
And the honor's mine, man.
So on this episode, we're going to be talking a little with Tony about how he actually started his the business and everything. But one of the cocktails that he's drinking today is a rum old fashioned. I mean, it's Zacapa 23, and I hope he likes it. I'm just drinking Zacapa on the rocks. Very nice, very neat, very delicious rum. And yeah, so Tony.
Yeah.
So where actually? Hold on. Let's say. How did it start? Because you start from somewhere. But
Yeah.
let's go all the way back and see where did you go to school and where did you get into the love, I think, for food?
Yeah. So it's weird, actually. The thing is, people have asked me, okay, so have you always been into food and beverage? Have you always liked food? Have you always liked coffee?
Exactly.
And I've always loved eating. Yes, definitely. If you ask me, have I loved food? Yes, I definitely love food. But I actually never studied anything that has to do with food.
Okay.
Nor did I go to any type of hotel school or study anything that has to do with food and beverage.
Yeah.
I actually studied social work.
Okay.
So I studied social work. I started in Curacao. And then 2 years in, I moved to Holland,
Okay.
where I kept going with my studies. I also worked as a social worker in Holland,
Gotcha.
which I loved. The thing about it was, I'm someone who really loves seeing results in helping people.
Yeah.
And I had to get used to the fact that I wasn't always able to help everyone.
Yeah.
And so that kind of changed my way of looking at it, which I still think it's an amazing job to do, and it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
But I noticed after 2 years working in it that I wasn't fulfilled the way I wanted to be. Exactly. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to help some other way. I'm going to find another way to do this. So after I was finished in Holland, did my 4 years there, came back to Curacao, started working with my dad.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was cool, but I always wanted to do something. I always actually loved the idea of starting a business in food and beverage.
Okay.
And I was scared of it. I was so terrified.
Yeah.
I did not know what to expect. And it was always like this little small idea in the back of my head, which I never actually put effort into it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And after being back in Curacao for, I think, 2 years, my wife and I, Lucy, we thought, okay, you know what? Let's do something that's from the both of us. So let's start our own thing.
Yeah.
And at first, we thought, okay, you know what? Curacao is missing something healthy. Now, by no means I'm a healthy eater.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. I love food. And especially, I have very big sweet tooth.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So
Me too, man. No worries.
I have such a big sweet tooth, like candy,
Yeah.
ice cream, chocolate,
Exactly.
Sweet drinks, anything that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's my thing. But Lucy, on the other hand, was very into, okay, I'm gonna eat healthy. I like eating healthy. I don't like very greasy food. And so the idea started. We had like this little small spot in Santa Maria.
Okay.
Where we were gonna do like this little takeout shop with healthy food and maybe like 1 or 2 little tables.
Yeah.
And we started working on it, and we were like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
And we said we're missing something. Now, Lucy is actually the one who got me into drinking coffee.
Okay.
So actually, that's funny because my background, my dad is Cuban,
Yeah.
and from my mom's side, we're Arabic.
Okay.
So it's like two cultures that are really into coffee.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, you know what? I used to drink coffee at home, Cuban coffee with my dad, or Arabic coffee when I'm at my family's house, and so Lucy, when we actually moved to Holland, she is a caffeine addict. She doesn't
Okay.
like me when I say it that way, but she really needs her coffee fix.
Because then she's gonna have like a
Then,
bad mood
yeah.
the whole
So
day.
if she doesn't have her coffee, she's not like, she doesn't feel like herself.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think coffee, I feel it too now.
Yeah.
Like now that I'm into it, I can't start my day without my daily coffee.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that first sip of your coffee in the morning, that it sets the tone for the day.
Exactly.
So anyway, we were thinking, okay, we're gonna start this. And so we actually, where we're at now in Zealandia 7 Mall, we had a unit where Bandido Cigar Lounge is now.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be our unit.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it was half of what we have now, and it was supposed to be only takeout and like maybe 1 or 2 tables.
Yeah.
But as you might know, in Curacao, laws,
Yeah.
especially when asking for permits for any type of food and beverage, is a headache.
Yeah, it's a pain.
It's a pain.
Yeah.
We struggled, and the thing was, the unit was never prepared to be horeca, to be food and beverage.
Just
So
office space, something like that.
yeah.
Right?
So I mean, it hadn't half the equipment, and especially the 2 bathrooms that were men and women's bathroom. Like we had 1 bathroom,
Gotcha. Yeah.
and so they were like, "Nope, can't do it." Like, okay, so okay, you know what? Let's put the dream on hold.
Yeah.
And then a week later, they call us. They tell us, you know what? The unit across, which is 2 units actually made together. Yeah, they made 1 big unit out of 2 since the beginning.
Yeah.
And someone else was gonna take it, and then it fell through. And they told us, you know what? You want to have it? We're like, yeah, sure. So we got it. I called like Hihide, I called Brantwer, I called everyone. Like, okay, what do I need? They tell us, okay, like you have to do this, you have to do that. And then Lucy and I looked at each other and we're like, okay, I think this is it.
Yeah.
And that's how it actually came into place. But there's kind of like a sad truth to the reason we decided to actually go into it, which we don't really talk about a lot.
Okay.
But here in Curacao, we used to love going out. I mean, we lived in Holland, so we would have amazing cafes. We used to travel a lot to the U.S., so, you know, you go to cafes, restaurants, and
you get delicious food. You get
delicious food, like
delicious
amazing
coffee.
service,
Yeah.
delicious coffee, and you know what? We're like, we love that. Like, we're used to that. And then we came to Curacao, and
you guys want to do that experience, give that experience too, right?
yeah,
Something
but
like that?
it started more like we were looking for that experience for ourselves.
Gotcha.
So when we just got back, we were new to, okay, let's get to know Curacao again after 4 years.
Yeah.
And so we started to go out. And sadly, we weren't getting the experience we wanted.
Yeah.
Which is, that for me is the sad part, because, hey, you know, you go out, and we went for breakfast at a certain restaurant in the morning, a place that usually could be packed, and you know, you see these little details, like the coffee doesn't taste as good, the food is okay. And the service wasn't up to par. It's lacking.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, is this what we're gonna have here? And then at one point, it was one specific day, one Sunday, we went out for breakfast, and the service that day was horrible.
Yeah.
And it pains me to say that because it's my people. So, like, I don't want to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
But the service was horrible. Like, they were cleaning tables and, like, just throwing all the food on the ground. And I was like... And Lucy does have a little background in Horeca.
Okay.
So she worked with her brother who had a restaurant, and she helped her since she was like 14 years old. She started working with him all the way up to 18 years old.
Nice.
And so she had that experience. Her brother was very strict in that sense.
That's good.
And so she learned, like, okay, details. And Lucy is a very detailed person, like very detailed person. And that was funny because I was like the one who's like always like carefree, like, okay, you know what? And she's
whatever.
detailed. Yeah. And so actually at that point, that day, that morning, having breakfast, she looked at me and she said, let's do this.
Yeah.
And I knew, okay, we have to start this. So then we went, by that point already, Santa Maria had fallen through. We decided not to do it. And then after that day, we went, looked at Zealandia. Oh, you know what? Let's do it.
Spot. Yeah.
Then the week after that, we had the big unit, and we started working.
Yeah.
Like my cousins, my dad, mom, everyone helped out. We built everything ourselves. So the counter, the chairs, the tables. Like we built the tables. Like we welded everything. We had the tabletops done. The counter we made.
You guys didn't buy anything, like just the products and just like go.
We did everything on our own. The only thing we bought were the lamps, the hanging lamps.
Yeah. And then like
And the
kitchen-
tabletop. And
kitchens.
kitchen
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But even like one of our kitchen tables, we made it. So
nice.
that was cool. That helped out a lot budget-wise,
Yeah,
starting.
exactly.
And so we knew what we wanted to achieve. Back then, there was Richard van Ginkel, which was an interior architect.
Yeah.
He helped us a lot
Okay.
with like figuring stuff out. And yeah, that's
How-
what we...
How long did it actually take you guys to get get it all the way done to the point that you guys, okay, we're gonna do our grand opening, or like our soft and a grand opening? How is it?
That's amazing.
Oh,
that's
thanks, man.
good.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you. It's really good.
So because I know like you guys have you normally you have your soft opening because all the papers are not done yet
Yeah.
and all the stuff, and then you have your grand opening. So how long did it take from like getting the unit to the point that you guys can like, okay, we're gonna have the grand opening and everybody can come eat?
So let's see. Lucy and I got married on our 10th anniversary on February 19, 2018. By that point, we already had the unit.
Yeah.
So raw, we didn't have anything in it. By that point, we had it reserved, so we knew it was going to be there.
Yeah.
For our honeymoon, we made it into like a work trip thing. So we went to New York, actually, and started cafe hopping and looking at everything.
Getting a little experience.
Yeah.
Like a little, yeah.
Yeah, so we came back April, I think it was, when we started to actually work on the place. So April 2018.
Gotcha.
I think that it was by around November or December, I think it was, that we finally, so permits we asked for permits, we asked for everything. Everything was like set up to start working, and we were just waiting. Kept working, kept doing our thing. And I think it was by October, November 2018, more or less. Yeah, that we had the place set up. And I think it was December 2018 that we actually had it to what we wanted it to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were basically ready to open.
Okay.
But we were still waiting on permits. We were still waiting on stuff. So we were just like, we were going crazy. And then I think it was like, so what we started to do is we started working on getting a menu set up.
Yeah.
We started We actually did like our barista training. We had there's the Specialty Coffee Association, which does like the whole.
On the island?
No, not
Oh,
here.
Oh, you
No.
scared me. I was like, okay,
No. There's a Specialty Coffee Association, which is international. They're
Okay.
based, I think, in the UK, and there's like branches in the US and stuff. But I think they all joined, so it's like one big association.
Gotcha.
They do
Nice.
like the barista, what do you call it? The
Like
competitions
competition. Oh,
and all of that. So coffee competitions, they do all of that. And then we had like we went and took like a course, a full in-depth course of coffee with a trainer from the Specialty Coffee Association. We had our certificate, and then we were like, okay, so now we know the basics. And I mean, by no means we were good at making coffee back then yet, but we started to know what it was and understand the basics of coffee. And so by that time, December, we had everything in place. January, February, we started working on actually on the skills of actually learning how to make coffee, prepping food. And it wasn't all the way into May of 2019, so a little more than a year later, that we actually opened up on May 20th.
And
After everything was finished, and we went, picked up our paperwork, everything, and we're ready to start. And so that's how we started. So actually, Kafe was started basically on what we were missing and knowing what we wanted.
Exactly.
So that same principle of knowing exactly what we wanted to give, what the experience was that we wanted our customers to get, that same principle guides us today. Nice. So that's how we started Kafe.
Yeah.
And with one vision and started growing. Now, Lucy and I had horrible days. Horrible in the sense of we were exhausted.
Yeah.
So for the first few months, it was Lucy and I only in the place. And so I was in the kitchen.
Sorry to break. Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
You were in the kitchen? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the kitchen.
So you have like, sorry to break you, but a little background of like how to cook, or were you just like, oh, I'm just making some little scrambled eggs and stuff like that?
So in my family,
Yeah.
the men are the ones that cook.
Okay, cool.
And so I learned from my grandfather when I was really young. He taught me how to cook, and my dad, who taught me how to cook. My dad actually, we had restaurants back then. So many years ago, my dad had a restaurant in Santa Rosa, and it didn't work out. It was, they weren't ready for the hecticness and the amount of energy that you have to put into a food and beverage place, a restaurant.
Yeah.
And so it didn't work out, and it was all good. He tried it. It was his dream. He did it, and after that, he was like, okay, I'm done with it. I'm good. I'm happy. And so he closed it down, and so he moved on. But I always loved the idea. So funny thing, you were telling me a while ago that you started pretty young.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In Horeca.
Yeah.
That was actually my first experience with Horeca. Now, the experience, it was very minimal. I was 13 years old, I think, when I started. And it was at my parents' restaurant. So, but I actually, there, I learned about cocktails.
Oh.
I actually started to learn about cocktails. Now, my brother-in-law, he's really good at cocktails. So he used to work there, and he used to help out, and he used to work there actually in all of that and do that. And so he taught me. He started teaching me like, okay, these are like alcohols that you can mix, and these are like drinks you can make. And I would stand behind the bar like at night and just try. Now I couldn't drink it. But I remember there were these waiters and waitresses, and I would make stuff and have them try it. And they were like, no, this doesn't work. Oh, this works. Oh, this doesn't work. Oh, this works. And so that was kind of like my first little experience with food and beverage and bars and stuff like that. And ever since then, for me, it's more about the creative aspect of it. So I love being creative with whatever I do. So not necessarily only food and beverage, but with anything I do. And so, yeah, that's when I started, I knew what I love to eat. And so I only made sure to make things that I loved.
Gotcha.
And so my first item on my menu was the traditional Cuban sandwich, which is actually the recipe my dad got from Cuba that he brought with him, that he knows like how to marinate the pork and everything.
nice.
And like the traditional Cuban sandwich, that was like my go-to thing, and people loved it. And so I had like my take on a Philly cheesesteak, and I had my take on like salads and meals and all of that, but it was just me in the kitchen. And so it was wake up at 4 a.m., Lucy and I, go prep for the day, do the whole day, close at 3, and then work all the way out up to 8 p.m., like cleaning, prepping for the next day. And I couldn't prep a lot, so I would have to go to the supermarket that day. So every day I had to go to the supermarket, buy like the little ingredients that I needed, go back, prep everything, and then get ready for the next day. So it was like every day from wake up at 4, go to sleep at 9, every day, every single day. And 6 days a week, and on Sundays just go prep for the week, and then that's it. And we did that for the first 6 months on our own. With like after a few months, I think after 2 or 3 months, we had like my niece who came to help.
He was like,
and her vacation.
I see you guys are like,
so it was like summer vacation, and she would come to help, and I was like, okay. And little by little, like we started getting more clients, and there was like one breaking point where I was like cooking. Lucy was helping clients, making coffee, helping clients. I was cooking everything on my own. And I turn around and I see like a line of people. Like wanting to order and looking at me like this. Like, okay, can I order now? Can I order now? Can I have my food? Can I have it? And I was scared shitless. I was like, crap. And I told Lucy, okay, we need to find someone. So we found a guy. He started helping us out. He started helping me in the kitchen, prep. Then after a month or 2, I got like a chef or a cook. He came to help. And then little by little started growing. Our place was small inside. So we had like, at the beginning, I think, maybe 4 tables? 4 tables and a little bar. And a little like sofa area. And now to what it's grown, I mean, we're big. Incredibly blessed.
I like it. It's nice. I've been there. I don't go a lot. I don't go out a lot. Let's say like because
me too. I'm like it's the same for me.
But the thing is for me like the time because I sleep late. Let's say that.
Of course.
And sometimes I wake up around 12 or whatever. But the days I'm off, that I went to 5999, it's very chill. It's very relaxing, you know. And at that point, I think you guys already got your servers. You guys got employees going on and everything. So it was nice, and I really liked it there. It's like a really like a fancy but still chill place to like chill and talk with people and get some food, you know.
Thank you. I mean, we try our best. I mean, we recently actually did the whole waitress thing. Like serving people at the table started just now, like post-COVID.
Exactly. Because before it was you will sit down and then after a while you will get called and you will like you will go get
so you order at the counter and then sit down.
Exactly.
So
nice.
that's how it started. And I mean, for a while it was great, but we actually wanted to do it because of COVID, just so that everyone doesn't like go stand at the counter on top of each other.
Gotcha.
So it was more of like, okay, for safety reasons. And people loved it. So we're like, okay, why switch something that people enjoy? You know, and actually after a while, people got used to it, and they were like, no, I just want to order at the counter. I'm like, but we can serve you at the table. I'm like, nope.
So just, I'll come and get it. Don't worry.
But I mean, we serve both, and people enjoy it. So we're very happy with how people have embraced us. And I mean, I can't take all the credit, nor Lucy and I can take all the credit. I mean, We've had people who've brought a little something additional to the place
Exactly.
every time. I mean, current employees, past employees, customers, everyone who's ever stepped foot in there has helped us grow in a way or another, and so we're eternally grateful for that.
Nice. And I just saw like you guys like expand to the little like
The deck.
the deck. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Nice. So in how hard it is? Is it? It is. Is it to like hire employees? Good employees. Because I have this. I have the problem. I had the problem. I still have the problem. And a lot of people that I talk to, business owners, it's in the Horeca, it's really hard to get like good and like dedicated employees, like to help you grow
Yeah.
in general. So how did you guys do it to get like good people?
You know what? We struggled with it as much as I think everyone else does.
Yeah.
So when we started looking for employees, we were lucky enough
Yeah.
that people actually approached us, and we got like great employees fairly quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we were new or I don't know what it was, but we got great employees fairly quickly. Now, when they started working with us, we knew that it was going to be temporary, because they had other arrangements, studies, stuff like that. So, like my niece who was helping us out, she had to go to school.
Exactly.
So I knew we couldn't depend on them for like
A
long term.
period, yeah.
And purposely, we actually never did the whole null uren contracting.
Okay.
So we always wanted to have employees who were working full time.
Gotcha.
We wanted to have them be part of the whole thing.
Yeah. Not a half or just
Yeah. So that made it a little extra difficult for us in ways, because we had very limited amount of people we could choose from. And so looking for employees was hard.
Yeah.
And it's not just looking for employees. See, the thing is, looking for employees who align with your vision.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so I sometimes say this, maybe it's not the most eloquent way of putting it, but I could throw a quarter
Yeah.
and find an employee, hit an employee.
Yeah.
Like, because there's so many.
Yeah.
Recently in March, I posted an ad, I think it was March or May.
Yeah.
I posted an ad that we were looking for staff. In the first week, I got 500 requests or 500 applications.
You're shitting me.
500.
What?
The thing is, I don't want to be the guy that sounds like you don't believe in people, because I actually do a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because I had so many applications, I didn't have time to sit down with 500 people.
Exactly.
And so I needed to scan through every resume quickly, see what they're about, see, like the first thing I look at is how their resume is made. Like, does it look
Professional or not, or is
it doesn't have to have like colors and stuff, but like, is it aligned? Does it look like you made an effort
Exactly.
into making a resume?
Yeah.
If it seems like you made an effort, then I would look further, and then I would probably look at like, okay, so what is it that their experience is, or what is it that they add? What are their hobbies? Stuff like that. So I try to scan through them really quickly. And even so, it was very difficult. Like, I mean, I love Curacao.
Yeah.
I love my people.
Yeah.
Even if I have different backgrounds, I consider myself Yu di Corso. So, mita Yu Corso.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm proud of it. I mean, there's a reason why we chose $59.99 as our name.
Exactly.
We're proud of being from Curacao. We are proud of being U de Corso. We are
Exactly.
proud of having been born here, having been raised here, having known our people. And so I know how it can be. I know that sometimes the way we are educated,
Yeah.
sometimes the way we see others in our community
Exactly.
influences how we ourselves are.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I knew that, hey, if I'm looking for an employee, I need to find someone that is willing to step outside of the comfort zone of being what they see around them.
Yeah.
So, just like I told you before, my experience at that restaurant in the beginning, before I started Kafe, I had that bad experience.
Yeah.
There's a point where you go to various restaurants and you see the same thing, and it stays with you, and at some point, it becomes a culture in and of its own.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, okay, this is how we do it here. And I was upset with that.
Yeah.
So, answering your question, it was very difficult. I mean, yeah, it's difficult. It still is.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that I have a great group of people at the moment. We're still looking for people as we're expanding and growing constantly. So we need more people to be able to help our customers and to fulfill their needs in terms of like coming in, having a great experience.
Exactly.
And so that is something we focus on. But yeah, it's difficult. May, I got 500 requests, applications.
Yeah.
June, July, I posted again, and I got 300 more.
Shit. Man. And
I was
like how this is how much people that's in need of jobs.
Jobs.
Yeah. And it's not something that I say this a lot that for a business to thrive, you need good people. Like you need like good employees. I don't in my personal experience, I don't really look for people that has the experience, like
Yeah.
all that experience and all
Exactly.
that. Because no offense to some people, maybe I'll hold somebody, but they can become assholes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
out of stuck up.
Yeah, stuck up.
You know.
Yeah.
So I prefer somebody that has the willing to grow,
Yeah.
and they want to get lessons and they want to learn more than people like that. So and the island, it's really hard to get those type of people and people that can serve people good also
Yeah.
with a smile, and not just like, hey, you're
Yeah.
going there like deuces,
Yeah. You know, you talk about smile.
Yeah,
I was telling you a while ago about the rules that I have.
exactly.
Ask any employee of mine. What's the number one rule? It's the golden rule. It's the
Yeah.
make it or break it rule.
Yeah,
You have to smile.
exactly.
It's become so difficult for a lot of people to be able to just switch that and just smile. And so I've had good people helping me, like very good experiences, like being helped at restaurants
Exactly. Yes.
with people that don't smile. But they make up for it in just the care that
Yeah.
they give you.
Exactly.
And so, yes, smile is my golden rule, but there are more things that need to be taken care of,
Yeah.
like the way you approach,
Yeah.
the way you talk to someone,
The attention
the
you give.
respect, the attention,
Yeah.
like focusing on what their needs are.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, that is my thing when I'm looking for an employee. Like we do, so whenever we're hiring,
Yeah.
I look at all the resumes and I pick like 10
Yeah.
out of like the whole bunch. I pick 10 and I interview them.
Yeah.
And from the 10 that I picked are usually the ones that had like the better CV or the they described more eloquently what they're looking for, or you can look at or you can find some authenticity within their resume.
Yeah.
When I look at that, then I say, okay, this is a person I want to talk to. Now I call them up. I usually call them up out of nowhere and start asking them like these random questions, and they're like, "Wait, but where are you from again?" I'm like, "You remember you applied at Kafe," and so it that fairly quickly shows me who's really looking for anything and who's really looking for something.
Gotcha. Yes.
And so that for me is a very big distinction. So you need to find, for me, it's finding people that want to work with us because they know who we are and they know what we offer.
Exactly.
And instead of finding people that just
Applying for a job.
applying for a job because they need money. And
Yeah.
I get it. I mean,
yeah.
everyone needs money.
Yeah, yeah,
everyone
sure.
needs to work. Everyone needs to sustain themselves.
Yeah.
But at some point, if you're not doing that with the love and care that you should, you're not going to last.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? So anytime someone interviews, I ask them like, okay, so why did you stop working at that place?
Yeah.
And they would tell me, it's because there was a misunderstanding, or they tell me because I'm always late, but I don't think I'm late, or they tell,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, and so I asked them, so does that mean you're not receptive to feedback?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they're like stunned. They're like, no, I am. And so there I can gather pretty quickly who's open to learning
Exactly. Yes.
and who's kind of like in their own ways and don't actually want to
yeah.
put in the effort. So yeah, that's a little bit about the hiring process. It's still difficult.
Yeah,
And I think at the moment there's a big shortage of like, for certain areas like chefs, I know it's big shortage of like capable chefs. Now, we have a great team.
Yeah.
We've managed to build up a great menu and ways of serving. So we try to be unique. We try to offer different things that are kind of, they could be like things you know, but
Yeah.
still in a different way, or they could be something totally new. But we try to be different,
Yeah.
and so we did that since the beginning, and we're keeping that mentality of always trying to be a little different than everyone else.
Nice.
I mean, if everyone is the same,
No, it won't be nothing.
no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's the thing that I really wanted to I really stress about sometimes because before I got like deep into the industry itself, I've seen a lot of places like having the same concept, you know,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And I talk a lot with a lot of different people about this because it's something that bugs me a lot because it's like for me, if we have different concepts, people can like, okay, today I want to have a burger. I go to like this place.
Yeah.
Or if I want tacos, let's go to the Mexican place. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but here it's so difficult to like, everywhere you get the same thing.
Yeah.
And which one is good?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I stopped going to certain places, like breakfast.
Yeah.
Breakfast for me is very important. Like, I'm a huge breakfast guy. But at some point,
Yeah.
I'm tired of having the same omelette and the same toast and the same scrambled eggs with veggies or
Yeah.
the same pancakes with syrup. I mean, at some point, we have to change things up.
Yeah.
Now, there are some really amazing people and restaurants and businesses starting to actually invest their time in creating unique menus,
Exactly.
which I love.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
You see the innovation, like people
Exactly.
are giving like effort, like their heart into it. Yeah.
Exactly. And for me, that's important. Like, was it Friday? Last Friday,
Yeah.
when I was at a cafe, I walked in, and like I've had everything on the menu by now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I told the guys, you know what? I want something different.
Yeah.
I don't know how they pulled it off. They made a breakfast meal for me with pork ribs.
Oh shit.
Now, you wouldn't think of pork ribs as being a breakfast item.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's lunch, it's dinner.
Yeah.
It was so good. It went on a menu. Like,
You're like, I want this on the menu.
exactly. Friday, we tried it out.
Yeah.
I told the guy, wow. He's like, I mean, I've been having some ideas. I'm like, send them to me. On Saturday morning, so from that day, the next day, I had a full new menu.
Shit.
I changed the menu completely. I made an all-day menu. Like,
Whoa.
from one day to another, I switched it up that quick.
But by changing a menu that quick, do you, because you always have like that constant customer that comes for one thing,
Yeah.
you know? Like I want scrambled eggs, I come here for
Yeah.
like scrambled egg with like bread. And if you change the menu so quickly, don't you get like on that people's nerves? Like, let's say BLT is on the menu, like, okay, I'm getting BLT every day. And yeah, from a day to another, she comes the next day and the BLT is not there anymore. And what do you do then? It's for people
Yeah.
to like get accustomed to your business actually,
Yeah.
right?
So actually, we did that pretty strategically.
Okay.
Since the day we opened, we switched the menus constantly.
Okay, gotcha.
So our menu doesn't stay too long. Actually, our recent menu is the menu that has stayed the longest
Yeah.
on service since we opened, and I think that's almost 3 months, which we just switched.
Gotcha.
Last Saturday. So it's the first menu that we've ever had that stayed for more than 2 months.
Nice.
So usually our average is between month and a half to 2 months menu changes. The reason we did not change was because what you said, people were falling in love with the menu and we're like, okay, you know what? We want to cater to that and let's give them what they want.
Exactly, yes.
But we started noticing that every time we want to switch something up, there was hesitation. And so we decided, okay, we're going to go back to our old ways and we're going to start changing a lot again.
Yeah.
So actually the new menu is a limited menu. It's for like 2 weeks. And
Okay.
after 2 weeks, I'm going to have a new menu again.
Just to like keep switching. it
Yeah.
up.
And so what we've always had is lunch specials.
Yeah, okay.
And anytime we want, we throw in like a lunch special. Anytime someone feels creative in there, we're like, oh, you thought of this?
Yeah.
Go ahead, do it. It's on the menu today. And we write it up.
Yeah.
And then it could be anything. It could be with the weirdest thing, and we put it on the menu. And then we see how people react to it. I mean, if you like it, awesome. If you don't, no worries.
Yeah.
I'll get you something else. But at least I'm figuring out what my customers like.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's that attention to detail that has helped us out a lot, like figuring out what our clients want and just getting them used to, okay, you know what? There's always room for something new.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, people seem to love it actually.
Yeah.
I thought it would hurt us. It didn't.
It didn't.
It
Oh,
didn't.
That's nice. Because in my, let's say, in the bar industry, normally time to change a menu is 6 months. So every 6 months, 5 months, you change the menu to something else, you know? Because at a point, people start getting used to the drink, and you're like, okay, I got some ideas, so everybody got to change with me.
Yeah.
But at a point, we make it a way that it is like for us, it's a little easier because food and beverage are like a little, they're together but still separate because you get, like food is a whole different deal than beverage, you know? So, but at a point, we make the menu in a way that we're still using the old ingredients.
Okay.
So people, in the way that if
of
people
course.
comes, like, hey, I really love that drink. Can you still make it? I'm like, yeah, sure. I can still make it because it's almost
you
the
still
same
have
ingredient. So it's something like that, you know? But everybody got to get used to changing menus because on the island exactly is you will go to the same place for years and still have the same food, like the same glazed ribs. Like I'll go the same place. I'm like, okay, I'm having ribs there, but I'm still having the same glazed ribs.
Yeah.
They didn't change not even the sauce, not even nothing. So it's built into us to a point that this is what they can offer, and that's it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really nice that people are into like starting to be creative and changing
Yeah.
and changing, because it's hard. And
Yeah.
I know for in fact for the front of house, it's hard to like keep changing, because it's hard to like teach them like for a chef, it's easy, like, yeah, you put caviar, blah blah blah, and for the front of house, like, oh shit.
I have to learn something new.
Yeah, oh shit. I gotta explain to them like,
Yeah.
this shit, that's caviar, it's fish, it's this type of fish. Yeah.
My front of house was pissed when we changed the menu from like one day to the other. Like, okay, you have to learn this new menu. Like, what, today? Yes.
Like, at least give me two. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Jesus.
No, but yeah, I mean, definitely it's hard for everyone because you have to get used to something new. But again, change is necessary.
Yeah.
Change is not an option. Change is a
growth.
must.
Yeah.
You have to change, you have to adapt, you have to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not growing, if you're not adapting, if you're not changing, you're stuck.
Yeah. Exactly.
And at some point, you're forgotten.
Yeah.
So my biggest pet peeve is actually going to a place that has the same menu from 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, there are good restaurants here. And I mean, the food that they make can be amazing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But it's the same food from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So at what point do you change?
Yeah.
At what point do you add something new? I mean, you can add a special, but still, it's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something new, something creative, something different. And at this point in time, today, there's so many new things invented.
Yeah.
Like, get to know it. But I understand that certain people have a little more difficult time getting out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so I've never had that issue.
Exactly.
Where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone, and I'm not gonna do it because I'm in my comfort zone. No, I thrive on getting myself out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, it is. And it's by going to this, let's say, not the same place, but different places, but for around along the years, going to these places, you will see like even the staff start. You see the same staff, but they're so like I would say like
Fed up.
Yeah, fed up, and it's a routine already.
Yeah.
It's a routine. So yeah, we have funchi, we have this,
Exactly.
arroz bruan. That's it. Anything else? No, the same. Okay, cool, dope. Yeah, and you're like, okay. And for me, I'm a guy that loves food. Even if I travel, I will try everything, because for me it's something I can pair with a cocktail.
Yeah.
That's my.
I see.
That's how I
Envision.
yeah, envision everything. So I try this, and what can go good with this? What can go good with this? You know, and that's the thing with me. I love food, and I love how to
That's
put them
awesome.
together. But going back to the business and everything, how you went through that part pretty quickly, but the hey day, the brandwear, and all those stuff.
Jeez.
I really want to get to know that a little more better, because, or even the people, because a lot of people don't know, like, when you start a business, it's not easy. It's not something like, okay, you're
Yeah.
open.
Nope.
And I really want, from your experience, to know how was that phase? Like,
Oh my
how
God.
much did you? Let's start with Bentandi information. Like,
No, well, let me tell you something.
yeah,
I don't know what other people have experienced at Ventana de Información. And although it went quite slow in terms of getting everything ready,
yeah,
the ladies that worked there that helped me out specifically, I don't know what other people might have encountered, but they helped me out really well. So my compliments to them. Like, they had the patience of guiding me through every step. Now, they are there to enforce these steps, so
Exactly.
they can't deviate from them. So their hands are as bound as mine are.
exactly, yes,
So at some point, it's not them, it's the laws and regulations that need to change. And that starts actually with our parliament, with our government, with the people that we choose to represent us. I've always said, if we want to grow as an island, if we want to have people investing in us, if we want people to actually be willing to spend their money into growing something, we need to be able to give them the opportunity to as easily as possible to start their business.
Exactly. Yes.
And so I remember talking to one of the, let's call them officials,
Yeah.
one of the officials of, it wasn't Bentana, it was, I think, Hihide, or
Yeah.
one of the people that I had to talk to in the beginning. I asked him, okay, so you're telling me I have to do this in my kitchen. Okay? Why is that? He tells me, okay, you have to do this because for sanitary reasons. Because if you have this, it's better, and I told him, so what are better options? He tells me, oh, I mean, you could put this or this or that. And I'm telling him, okay, but what I have here, do you realize that it's better than what you're telling me? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's the rules of 1950, I don't know what. So explain to me how in back then, 2018,
Yeah.
2019, 2020, 2021, we're still applying rules that were made in 1950, I don't know what.
Yeah. Does it say that we're lazy?
I mean,
It's my how
at
how
some
I
point,
see it. Like, you know.
you know, I usually avoid saying anything about politics.
Yeah.
I usually don't get into it.
Me at the bar, I'm like, if you're talking about politics, we don't talk
Yeah.
here about politics. But you know, sometimes you
The thing
gotta
is,
go to
I don't
it.
talk about politics a lot. I have my opinion, and I usually don't share it because it's mine. It's my opinion. But what I am gonna say is, at some point, I've met politicians.
Yeah.
I've known politicians, and I'm never gonna either defend them or criticize them directly.
Okay. Yes.
And if I do have something to criticize them on, I will always criticize them
Directly.
eye to eye.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do think that there's a certain culture or way of doing things in politics that can sometimes forget who it's meant to benefit.
Yeah.
And so a government, a parliament, anything that has to do with politics,
Yeah.
at the end is supposed to help out the community.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does get lost in whatever it is that the topic is at the moment.
Yeah.
But at that point, I'm like, okay, so there's this law. It's from 1956 or 1958 or I don't know what.
Yeah.
Why are we still applying the same laws of that year if in 2021 everything has changed? Like, technology has advanced so much that I can't understand why we can't adapt our laws also to make use of these advancements that we've had. And so a simple thing, the bathrooms I told you about.
Yeah.
The biggest issue I had with the first unit was I didn't have space to put
Exactly.
2 bathrooms. So when I started, I told them, okay, they tell me, okay, so you need to have at least 1 bathroom for men and 1 bathroom for women. I told them, can't they just be unisex?
Yeah.
And the way they just looked at me and were like, are you crazy?
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. And I'm like, they're like, no, it has to be 1 for men, 1 for women. But why?
Yeah.
That's just how the laws are. And I'm like, okay. So there's no wiggle room. Nope.
But at that point, I understand them in a way,
Yeah.
because like men are men, like the way we urinate, it's different.
You would be surprised.
In the way, sometimes.
Yeah.
the-
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I mean, I can say with confidence that our bathrooms at Kafe are used regularly throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a big issue with cleanliness.
Okay.
So I don't know what might influence that, but actually in the beginning I didn't even put like the men and women signs.
Whoever wants to
Choose
go
the
in.
one you want, and people were like okay with it, and
Yeah.
like people, and at some point like you started getting like they would come in do checkups and tell us like okay you have to put the sign, and I was like okay fine, I'm gonna put it, just but let me tell you that the thing is, the other thing about Kafe is actually it still is a place to be inclusive.
Okay.
So we pride ourselves on being inclusive and having anyone, no matter what it is what you believe, who you are, what you do, sexual orientation, faith, whatever it is,
Yeah.
we're all in this together.
Accept
And
you.
so we're accepting.
Yeah.
And so I think that translated pretty well to our customers. You get the occasional people who don't like that, and I'm sorry. I mean, it's understandable, and we know that we're not for everyone.
Exactly. Yes.
And so we try to give the best of ourselves over to our clients, and we hope we do that every time they come in. And if not, we try to fix it or be better next time.
Exactly.
But always keeping in mind that we're here for everyone.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, that's one of the few principles that we've had since the beginning that has guided us and we've kept on going with.
Nice.
Yeah.
But one thing about about the cafe that really a lot of people told me about is a thing that it's a good thing, and also like in a way not a bad thing, but at a point at the cafe people that told me like you feel like you have to dress nice
Oh, really?
to be there. I don't know, maybe it's the
The clientele?
the clientele or the environment that you guys built. Maybe I don't know,
I know what you mean. The thing is, it's not
because
not necessarily.
Last time I just walked in this.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I don't know if people have seen us, but I mean, we try to keep it very casual.
Yeah. T-shirts and
like
jeans.
t-shirts, jeans, sneakers. So we do it purposely because we want it to be an environment where you're comfortable being yourself.
Exactly.
When I'm not working, where I'm not at my other office, or when I'm not at cafe or doing something specific, I come in shorts or like sweatpants and like flip flops, like my Adidas flip flops and my t-shirt, and
Ghetto.
yeah, I mean, I'm just myself. I'm comfortable because the place has been created for you to be comfortable no matter what you're wearing.
Exactly.
I've seen like these people dressed in the nicest clothes, like these shirts with their what you call them,
What?
the
Ties and shit.
ties,
Yeah.
crap, ties, and like shoes, like nice shoes, and like they come in all dressed. But the thing is, we're very close to offices. So at lunch, you might find people coming in there in their break, and they have to dress nice for their job. So,
Exactly.
and so it doesn't mean that you have to specifically dress nice or that we're looking for a specific type of person. Everyone is welcome, no matter what you're wearing, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
And so we try to bring that over to our clients so that they feel it.
Yeah.
I hope it comes true. I know sometimes it can feel like, oh, you know what? It's like high end or like but it's not. We're actually very casual. We're very easygoing. We're very, we don't try to be formal at all.
Yeah, yeah, I felt it, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we've had people come in and like after their workout and just sit in there. And I'm like, are you comfortable? They're like, can I sit here like this? Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, sit wherever you like.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for you to
Exactly.
just feel comfortable.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
cool, man. So, another question.
Yeah.
So we've been like 2 years already in this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a question I'd like to ask everybody, and I really want to get your take because I feel in a sense that you guys boomed after the pandemic. It's just my way my way of seeing it. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people boomed after the pandemic. I don't know why, but you know, after we're still in it. But how did it affect you? Like the first lockdown and then second and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
How did it?
Well, yes. So after the pandemic, we boomed. We actually grew a lot.
Yeah.
We were doing very well. We're still doing very well. So I'm very thankful for that. For us, the pandemic was a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
So by no means am I trying to say that the pandemic was good because it was horrible what COVID has done to us. The amount of people who've gotten sick, the amount of people we've lost, it's horrible. But for us as a business, it has helped us out. And not in the sense of like, oh, we've sold just because we've sold more. It was because we had to adapt. And because from the beginning, our mindset was constantly adapting, it didn't phase us.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so I think nowadays, which I'm very happy because I love seeing businesses on the island thrive.
Yeah.
I mean, competition, no competition, whatever it is, I love seeing them thrive.
Yeah.
So I've seen people starting to adapt and not get used to the status quo. But we were doing that.
Yeah.
Like we would switch up our menus regularly. In the beginning, we were doing like specials every single day.
Jesus.
Like one new menu item every single day, 6 days a week.
Shit.
No repetition. And then we had to adapt because after some point it wasn't feasible anymore. But still, we were constantly adapting.
Yeah.
We were changing. We were... What Kafe used to be 2 years ago, it's 2 years, 2.5 years. It's completely different now from what it was.
Yeah.
We have the deck, we've grown, we've added more tables, we've removed things, we've added more stuff, we've added more staff. We started from Lucy and I alone to, I think, a payroll of 11 or 12 people at the moment.
Whoa. Damn.
I'm like, but it's adaptation. It's changing. It's knowing that there's nothing is a constant in this life.
True.
And so, yes, COVID has helped us grow, not because of COVID itself, but because of our own mindset.
Gotcha. Yeah.
The most difficult part of COVID was understanding that change is inevitable.
Yeah.
And understanding that you need to be able to adapt quicker than you thought. So even us that adapted fairly quickly, we had to adapt like from serving customers inside to only doing takeout from one day to another.
Yeah.
Like the first lockdown, like I remember it was a Sunday when they said like, okay, everything is closing down. I'm like, crap. Okay. And then a month. Now for us, actually, it worked out that lockdown because
Small vacation.
besides that, we found out my wife was pregnant.
Oh,
like
nice.
2 days after lockdown, we found that out. And we're like, okay. So she got to rest and all of that. And I, I, I don't like saying that COVID has helped us because COVID is horrible,
Yeah.
but it did give us an opportunity, personally, to breathe and to say, okay, time to figure out what's next.
Exactly.
Time to figure out how we're gonna adapt. I mean, COVID, pregnancy, getting staff.
Yeah.
I mean, everything had to come one thing after the other. And so my staff was great. They helped us a lot. During the last few months of Lucy's pregnancy, I mean, we stayed at home a lot
Yeah.
for her to rest, not stress. And so, yeah, I mean, and yeah, we were booming at that point after everything started, and we had amazing clients.
Yeah.
I love our clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am eternally grateful to them for supporting us through every hurdle, everything like closing down, opening up, takeout only, delivery only, which, by the way, delivery,
It's a pain.
it's a pain.
Yeah, I know. I've been through that.
But I mean, that was an adaptation
Yeah.
that we had to just. I was the one doing the deliveries.
Google Maps. Like,
Yeah,
oh.
Google Maps. Like
Where's your house?
I had my dad's car,
Yeah.
which was the only car that we had at the house that had like the Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
So I would put that and then put my phone on the dashboard and just like drive around with like Google CarPlay. Like, okay, maps. Okay, put in like all the addresses. Okay, let's start driving. Oh, hey, how are you? Like delivery.
Yeah.
And it was like for the first few days, it was nice
Yeah.
doing it. And then at some point, you get to see what the issues are with delivery. Like our infrastructure on the island
sucks.
isn't made up
No.
for deliveries.
No.
The way we've set up our businesses on the island isn't made up for deliveries. And I understand it's a small island, so we have to work with what we have.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be.
Did you guys ever get any complaints that food was cold or anything?
I mean, that's actually the reason why we stopped. After
Okay.
the second lockdown, that they said, okay, restaurants will still be able to do deliveries and or it was only deliveries. We did deliveries for the whole time. Then it was, I think, deliveries curbside it was deliveries drive-through, which we weren't able to do. And then fairly quickly afterwards, it was deliveries and
Takeout, curbside.
takeout,
Yeah.
curbside, etc. And then it came to dine-in. And as soon as dine-in started, like 3 days later, we stopped deliveries.
Yeah.
Because we were getting complaints of, hey, food got here cold. And I understand you're paying for food. You don't want cold food. But on the other hand, it's impossible for me to leave Zeelandia, go all the way to Groteberg with one meal,
Yeah.
come back all the way to Zeelandia, and then go back all the way to Santa Maria, and then come all the way back and go to Gosiweg. I mean, it doesn't work out. So I have to grab all 3 meals. I have to go to Gosiweg first. I have to go to Santa Maria second. I have to go to Groteberg third.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is. And I mean, you get to someone's house, sometimes like they take a little bit more time to come out to get their food. Like
And
you're
you can't
waiting
find the
5 minutes. You can't find the house.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get like this address and then you search it and it's like, okay, what? Doesn't appear. Then you have to call them like, okay, can you explain to me? Ang etong kas banda di Kiko. And I'm like,
Well, this is gonna be a pain.
yeah, I mean, we on the island are used to explaining our houses like the third house on the left after the DVD boom. Like,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
but and
I don't live in that neighborhood, so I don't know where's the DVD people.
yeah, and so it was It was a bit difficult. At some point, we started doing deliveries. Like 2 of us would do it, but it was hard, and people were complaining. Like in the last couple of weeks, people were complaining a lot, and I understand.
Yeah.
And by no means am I not giving them the right to say, "Hey, my food is cold," because I understand now. We're very lucky that we've had customers that have understood that, hey, you know what?
You're doing the best.
We're doing the best with what we have. We started working at some point with delivery companies.
Yeah.
But even them, they were like doing a lot of deliveries, like shortage of drivers,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's not easy. That's what I'm telling you. The infrastructure on the island for deliveries isn't set up correctly, and there's so many little companies that want to do it,
Yeah.
and then at some point you're like, okay, but my business is struggling doing the deliveries because this company is trying to accommodate 10 other businesses
Exactly. Yes.
with 4 drivers.
Mhm.
I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we stopped deliveries. By no means we're saying that we're not going to do it again in the future. I mean, if we find the right way of doing it,
Yeah.
we could do it, and we would want to. But still, it's part of like, okay, finding out the correct way of doing it.
But wouldn't it be a strain on the employees, or you got to get more employees because even if the restaurant itself or the cafe itself is busy, you're already at your, let's say, your max capacity for the, and with like deliveries coming in, and
Yeah.
you have takeouts also, it's gonna be like a even harder like
Yeah.
strain on the employees.
Yeah.
So, isn't that a part that when you are going to do it, you gotta expand the kitchen or something like that?
Oh yeah,
Because-
definitely. And that's like what I was telling you. Like we're constantly adapting.
Yeah.
So we're constantly investing in ourselves. So we're growing, we're adding new stuff. We're trying to expand our kitchen, our bar, our coffee, or our deck, our seating arrangements, everything. And so, yeah, I mean, we have to be able to do that. And in a sense, I mean, whenever we do something, we try to focus on what we can do,
Yeah.
and we try not to bite off more than we can chew.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do, like you bite a little bit and then you choke a little bit, and you're like, okay, you know what? Take it easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really try not to go above of what we are able to do, because then we're not serving ourselves and we're not serving you the way you're supposed to be served.
Exactly.
And so, again, we are offering an experience. We
Yeah.
are offering a good service, good meals, good coffee, good drinks. And so, in that sense, everything has to be well. Everything
Yeah.
has to be good. And if we can't manage it, then we have to change what we can, even if that means, okay, we're not able to do this for a while.
Exactly.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, growing is part of it. Our staff does. I mean, when we're doing deliveries and takeout and curbside and dine in, they were like, okay, something has got to give. Seriously. But again, kudos to my staff. They handled it like champions.
Oh, nice.
They were amazing.
Yeah.
Really,
Nice.
I am so happy that they were able to push through, to help us grow, to work on bettering our whole operation.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, and whenever we felt like, okay, that's it, then we knew, okay, it's time to stop it or it's time to change it.
Exactly.
But everyone was always a champ and pushed through and did their best. And yeah,
nice.
it's amazing.
No, nice, man. Oh, man. So nice. So I think we were talking, I think, for about an hour already.
Oh, jeez. Really?
An hour and 15, man.
Damn.
So I think we talked a lot. I think we went through all the questions I had.
Okay, awesome.
And I really appreciate that you were very open talking with me on this podcast. Thank you very much for dropping by, giving a little like an hour and 50 minutes, 30 out of your schedule to sit
It's my
down with me,
pleasure.
man. Thank you. I'm very humbled for being on your first podcast.
I'm very happy to be able to do this podcast with you, man. I've heard your podcast before, and it's amazing. And I like that people are able to just be able to sit down and discuss,
Yeah.
and talk, and just just understanding each other and learning that we're in this together. Yeah.
Actually, because it's hard because you see a lot of businesses like fighting each other,
Yeah.
and at a point, if you break one another's leg, or if you
Yeah.
yeah, it's even if it gets even worse because
Yeah.
people don't want to open business anymore because they get scared because and also I feel like a lot of people before COVID, a lot of people like was scared about how the business is and how to open up a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's scary.
It
In
is.
itself, it's scary.
It is.
And now a lot of people, you see a lot of a lot of business opening. I'm like, a lot of people got time to like, had time to like, okay, I think it's time for me to do something with this. I have a gift. Let's try it out.
I think people got inspired after COVID. I think people got inspired, or I don't know if it was inspiration or if it was just like, you know what, life is short. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to pursue my dreams.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that's...
having no regrets afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. I don't want to leave this world and say, I regret not having tried this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in that sense, I think more people are getting used to or are starting to actually work into just,
Yeah.
pursuing their dreams, doing what they love. And I'm very happy for that. And I sincerely hope that more people start following their dreams and start growing and start pursuing things and just be able to do something that makes people want to visit, makes people want to come to the island. Like,
exactly.
My biggest hope is that people out there in other countries, when they think of us, when they think of Curacao, they say, okay, I want to go there. Like, the vibe seems amazing. The people seem amazing. Like, the service is amazing. Whenever, like, I got there and everyone was smiling. And I got there and I got at this restaurant and the food was amazing. And the staff was friendly. And if we have that, if we have people working on growing the island, growing our name, growing ourselves, growing what we offer.
Yeah.
If we start thinking in terms of, okay, let's help each other succeed instead of let me succeed, then I think we're going to get very far.
We are. Yeah.
So that is my biggest dream, and that is why I've always supported other businesses.
Yeah.
I've always pushed even my clients. Like, I sit down at Kafe and I discuss with my clients places where they should go eat or where they should go have coffee.
Yeah.
Like, I tell them, try this place or try that place or go here or go there, even if it doesn't benefit. And I say benefit like this because I don't think it doesn't benefit me, but
At a
try
point,
something.
They'll come back. They're like, you know, Tony, the place you sent me, like, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
Like, I love supporting other cafes on the island. Now, granted, I don't have a lot of time to go to every single one of them.
True.
I try to go, but I'm just like other people at other cafes, just like other people at bars and
They're
food
busy
restaurants.
with their own businesses, you know.
So, but if I can go, I mean, definitely. Like, I love having, like, there are places where I still want to go have some coffee. Like, there are places on the island where I truly want to visit and go and experience it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think coffee terms, yes, I want there to be more places that put emphasis on offering great coffee.
Yeah.
And great service and great food. But coffee is, to me, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's special. It's part...
For people to go in depth, just because, let's say, 5 years to 10 years ago, in this industry, it wasn't a must. or it was just like a job. Nobody goes in depth
Yeah.
into like one thing like coffee
Yeah.
or like cocktails or like
Yeah.
food, you know? It was just like, okay, this is a business. We get some money from it.
Yeah.
It's okay, cool.
Yeah.
But right now it's like something like you see people like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing coffee, I'm
Yeah.
going like deep, I'm going like all the way. And I'm doing food, I'm going all the way. It's so nice to see people like so motivated to
Yeah.
do something.
Exactly.
It's nice.
I love it. I mean, that for me is the one thing, and like the goal
Yeah.
is to, at some point, whenever I go to the US again or to, and they ask me where you're from, and I tell them Curacao,
Yeah.
the feedback that I get is, oh, you know what? I've heard of it, and I hear it's amazing, or I've been there,
Yeah.
and I had like this amazing coffee or meal or anything, and just in terms of coffee, like just building it into something that is just wonderful
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and part of your day, and just being able to like sit down every morning and say, okay, I'm happy I had this cup of coffee, even if it's with me or any other place.
Exactly.
Just enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Cool.
Thank
Dan,
you so much.
Thank you very much for joining me.
It's my pleasure. We're happy to be here, and yeah, man, I'm excited to hear what's next with
Yeah, sure, for
with
sure, for
Bebe
sure.
Kumi.
Yeah. I'm still gonna be growing, man. Still gonna be doing my thing, you know. But I'm really happy that you joined me on this episode.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So if anybody has some questions, they can hit you up on 5999's.
Of course,
yeah?
it's they can DM us at Kafe 5999,
Yeah.
or on Facebook. On Facebook, usually you can get like the automated responses,
Exactly.
like get the information you want. But on Instagram, you can like actually DM us to talk, and like it's either Lucy, I, or another staff member that's there. They can open it up, see if you like have questions. Usually, we'll try to get to it as soon as possible. But yeah, 5999.
Yeah.
Or email info@5999.com. People can call us. I mean, we're available, and you can find us online easily. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Like I hit them up on like their DM.
Yeah.
And it was they responded very quickly and very friendly. So it's cool. So if you guys have any questions, just hit them up. It's so nice, and like join
Definitely.
them. Kick it there. Like, if you have the time, just go to the cafe.
Visit us, sit
Yeah.
down, let's talk, and yeah,
Enjoy some good food.
enjoy some good food and
Some
some
good
great
coffee.
coffee. Yeah, definitely.
Very
Some
important.
great juices.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot to offer, and for everyone. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, join us, stop by, and then at night go have a cocktail.
Cool, man. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
It's been a
everybody,
pleasure.
for joining us on this episode. And I think I'll see you guys next time on Bebe Kumi. Deuces.